The purpose of these lessons is to show you the logic behind the most basic Chinese characters, beginning with the simplest pictograms, and later combining these elements to create more complex characters. Today's lesson includes only 4 characters, all of which, again, contain the right hand yo. These 4 characters diverged from one original, a right hand holding an ornate staff, indicating that the holder was an emissary of the king, conveying royal proclamations to village inhabitants. This character is pronounced third tone, shi, shi. It evolved from the hand holding a staff to include the duties performed, such as recording the degrees, exploits, and events involving the king. From this original meaning of a recording of the king's exploits, shi is now the standard term for recording of historical events, and not only those of the ruling family. For example, 我们的家史, our family history, and 史书上没有他的名字, his name doesn't appear in history books. With the addition of an horizontal line at the top of this character, we have the title of a minor government official in former times. Pronounced fourth tone, li, li. As it's not very useful in modern Chinese, I have no examples. Far more useful are the other 2 characters that are extensions of this one. The first one adds a person radical to indicate the king's emissary himself and his job as enforcer of the king's rules among the general public. Unsurprisingly, this character is also pronounced third tone, shi, shi. It means to send diplomatic personnel, or it can serve as a causative construction, meaning to make or cause an action. First, some examples with the meaning of emissary or envoy. 君王的信使, the king's messenger. 她是人间的天使. She's an angel from heaven. Literally, she's an angel in the world of mortals, sent from heaven. Now for the diplomatic usage. 大使夫人要小心, 不可以失言. Ambassadors' wives must be careful not to make indiscreet remarks. 使性子 means to be temperamental, literally causing one's unbridled nature to show through. 他的个性不好, 动不动使性子. He has an unpleasant character trait in that he often loses his temper. Notice the useful phrase 动不动, which means to be apt to do something at the drop of a hat, suddenly and without reason. Literally, provoked or unprovoked. 尤其使我恼怒的是他想出家. What's especially vexing is that he wants to become a monk. 使我恼怒 translates literally as makes me vexed or makes me irritated. In China, 出家 means to leave one's parental home and join a monastery as a Buddhist nun or monk. 工人使门不能打开. The workers made the door so it can't be opened. Literally, made the door, can't open. 您的一封信使我好开心. One letter from you has made me very happy. And finally, 知 from the previous lesson pairs with 使 to create 知使, meaning to order someone around, which often creates feelings of resentment, as in this example. 少指使人好不好? Stop ordering people around. Even more useful is this next character, another variation on today's first one. It's pronounced fourth tone, 是, 是. By now you should be thoroughly convinced of the reason for Chinese using 2 or 3 characters in combination to avoid confusion and ambiguity in speech. There are just too many homonyms. Anyway, this fourth tone 是 character originally referred to the duties and services performed by the king's emissary. Today it translates generally in English as business, occupation, matter, task, function, which explains why it's such an important character to know. You may remember that the character liao from lesson 14 is an infant swaddled in cloth, completely constricted, giving rise to the meaning finished, literally all wrapped up. So now we can make a very simple phrase, 了事, meaning to put an end to a matter, get it over and done with. Sometimes, while out and about, we might happen to see a minor accident, a person slipping, falling, or dropping something with little to no harm occurring. It's at this moment the person will usually say, 没事, 没事, meaning it's nothing, everything's fine, I'm okay. Literally, no matter. At Lunar New Year's time, it's very common to see red scrolls on people's doors with the following characters wishing passerbys a Happy New Year. 事事如意. May all things go well. At the opposite end of the spectrum is a rather brusque expression of impatience or annoyance at someone sticking their nose where it doesn't belong. 干他何事? What's it got to do with him? What business is it of his? You might recall in lesson 22 that 干 often represents a spear. As such, it can mean to attack. So in combination with 相, 相干, it means to mutually interfere or interact with each other, be concerned with, have to do with. Its negative, 不相干, means totally unrelated, have nothing to do with. A less harsh way of saying none of your business is this sentence. 没有你的事. This doesn't concern you. Actually, the degree of offensiveness depends on the tone of voice when using these sentences. Here we find the expression 支开 again, meaning to invent a pretext to get someone to leave. 支开闲人, 没有他们的事. Send outsiders away. They've got no business here. 急事 is an urgent matter. 急事, 不要指使你哥, 你本人去. For urgent matters, don't send your brother. Go yourself. An important matter would be 重要的事, as in this example. 我有重要的事找你. I've got an important matter to discuss with you. This sentence could also be rearranged like this with the same meaning. 我找你有重要的事. Here's an example with 其他. 没有其他事的话, 我要走了. If there's nothing else, I'll be on my way. Notice the useful expression added to a clause to express a supposition. 的话, meaning literally, say. A similar usage can be found in English. For example, say you found yourself lost in the mountains. What would you do? Or, could you lend me some money until I get paid, say $200? This phrase can also be used in conjunction with if at the beginning of the sentence. 要是没有其他的事的话, 我要走了. Our next example uses 本事, translated as innate talent, literally root occupation or original skill. 他没有本事, he lacks talent. To be engaged in a specific occupation uses the expression 从事, literally to follow a business. 他从事家电出口. She deals in the export of household electrical appliances. The meaning of 往事 is past events, or simply the past. 他的话使我回想往事. Her words made me recall an incident from the past. The next phrase is 小事, meaning trivial, unimportant matters. 不要因小事而吵架. Don't argue over such trivial matters. The opposite of trivial matters, naturally, is important matters, or 大事. 成家是人生的大事. Marriage is one of life's major events. Now here's a phrase using 省 to mean reduce or save. 省时又省事. Save both time and trouble. 省 and 事 can be separated, as in this sentence. 你省了我们不少事. You saved us a lot of work, a lot of trouble. When combined with 出事, the meaning is decidedly unpleasant. Something has gone wrong. There's an accident. Here's an example of giving reassurance to someone embarking on a risky endeavor. 你不可能出事的. Nothing can go wrong. Stop worrying. This next example is a person totally dependent on another, worrying about the future. 你要是出事, 叫我何去何从? If something happens to you, what will I ever do? 叫 in this sentence is a causative usage. Literally, an accident would make me not know which way to turn. And now we have some 成语, 4 character fixed idioms. The first one is 事出有因, literally, things that happen have a reason. 她不开心, 事出有因. She doesn't look too happy, and not without reason. Or, there's a reason for her looking so glum. 她没有成家, 一定是事出有因. There must be a reason he never married. Perhaps he never found his soulmate. Another idiom is 心事重重, to describe a person burdened with troubles. 他心事重重地走回家. He walked home, his mind filled with worry. 没事找事 is an idiom that means just looking for trouble. Literally, no trouble, find trouble. 你回他的信是没事找事. Answering his letters, just asking for trouble. Don't respond. And finally, our last example is the way to say to be in a coma, be unconscious. 不省人事, literally, not know human affairs, unable to respond to the world. 有个男人在工地不省人事. There's a man at the construction site who's unconscious. With so many examples of only 1 or 2 characters, you can understand why this is a lesson unto itself. Here's our color chart with today's 4 characters. 使, 力, 使, and 是. So, what's the takeaway from today's lesson? 1. The 4 characters in this lesson are all based on a right hand holding a staff, to show that he is an envoy of the king, conveying royal decrees to the local inhabitants. 2. That hand holding an ornate staff came to represent the duties the envoy performed. which included announcing and recording the decrees and exploits of the king. Being able to keep written records meant that he was a literate official in the government in ancient times, with a title of fourth tone li. 3. The main occupation of the li was record-keeping, which became historical records, or in modern Chinese, the character for history, 史. History books are collectively called 史书. 4. As a government official, the li would travel from place to place as representative of the king and do his bidding, giving us the character 史 with a person radical added. This character means an ambassador of the government, and also serves as a very important causative construction, meaning to make or cause someone to do something. A messenger is 信使. An angel is 天使. An ambassador is 大使. 5. The causative construction is usually composed of 使 plus a noun plus a verb. Some examples were 使我恼怒, make me upset or irritated. 使他开心, make him happy. 使门不能打开, make the door so it cannot be opened. 6. By adding 知, we get a standalone verb 知使, meaning to order people around. 7. By far the most useful character is the ubiquitous fourth tone 是. We mentioned dozens of expressions. 了事, put an end to a matter, get it over and done with. 没事, everything's fine, no problem. 没你的事, this doesn't concern you. 急事, an urgent matter. 本事, talent. 从事, to engage in a business. 往事, past events. 大事, or 小事, important or unimportant matters. 省事, save someone the trouble. 出事, have an accident. 8. And there were some new idioms. 事出有因, things happen for a reason. 心事重重, too much on one's mind. 没事找事, just looking for trouble. 不省人事, unconscious, in a coma. Now you'll find a short quiz on double, triple character, and longer expressions. Answer using only the characters learned so far. Thank you for watching and listening.